Yo, it is time for 7 Black wealth building tips. How Blacks in America are closing the wealth gap on this 43rd, 44th, 45th. I don't know. We are on episode 40 something of the Cortez Hustle Show. Welcome to the show this morning. Do me a huge favor. Go ahead and comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand if you'd like to get a free business shout out. And we're going to go all the way in today, man. I found a great article on Business Insider that I want to share with you guys today. And it talked about 6 tips for building wealth as a Black person in America. But when I looked at the 6, as good as they are, they left out the number 1 wealth building tip for Black people in America. And I'm going to add that. So now it's 7 Black wealth building tips for how Blacks are closing the wealth gap in America. And while collectively, this is not happening on the scale that I would like to see it, there are more people in the Black community than you know that are actually building generational wealth. And we're going to share that with you guys today. So let's get into it. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, the one and only financial health mentor, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur from monetizemylifeacademy.com. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the entrepreneurship space and you're looking to, or if you're trying to get into the entrepreneurship space and you don't know where to start, then we have a mastermind for beginner to intermediate business owners where you're going to get a free digital marketing course every single month. You're going to get a group coaching call on the 15th of every month live with live Q&A, and you're going to get one-on-one coaching session with a top digital marketer in the industry every single month. And it could be yours, guys, for just $27 per month as a founding member. So if you are interested in joining the mastermind, and I need you to comment mastermind so we can have a phone call. I want to make sure that this mastermind will be a good fit for you. I don't like to just sell someone on something like this. We got to make sure that I can help you and that you're going to benefit from the mastermind. Of course, we're going to get into 7 Black wealth building tips, how Blacks in America are closing the wealth gap. I'm going to give you my 5 critical steps to building wealth. We've got, of course, the 1-minute motivation coming up here in a second. And then, of course, our question of the day. A couple quick announcements before we get into the question of the day. Just so that you know, if you want to market, if you want to support the show, you can actually sponsor the Cortez Hustle Show in a few different ways. You can sponsor the studio, you can sponsor the show itself, you can sponsor a segment of the show, and you can even provide a 30 to 90 second commercial that we air midway through the show. If that is something that you are interested in, then comment sponsorship, and the team will reach out to you today to figure out what's a good fit, even if you have the right products and services that fit our audience. So, question of the day for this morning: what's the difference between wealthy and rich? What's the difference between wealthy and rich? And if you're going to comment on the question of the day to be entered into the drawing to win a free vacation, then I want you to make sure you use the 4 letters QOTD, then your answer. So again, because I do a drawing every week for the question of the day participants, I need to know that your response is to the question of the day. And the way that we do that is you comment QOTD and then give me your answer. But in the meantime, go ahead and comment the name of your business and or your brand for a free business shout out. If you have not already, smash that share button. I'm going to do that right now and share the show to my personal profile. And we're going to go ahead and get started with today's episode. So listen, man, in order to build wealth, one of the first things that you must understand, I want you to put this in the comments, man. Building wealth is a team sport, people. I know we hear the term self-made millionaire a lot. Man, let me tell y'all something. There is no such thing as a self-made millionaire. That's an oxymoron, man. Nobody makes $1 million by themselves, man. So understand that building wealth is a team sport. Also understand that building wealth begins in the mindset. So let's talk about 5 critical steps to building wealth. If you're going to transform your financial history, right? Trademark companies out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My man Ken Lawrence is in the building. Welcome to the stream today. If you're going to build wealth, you got to understand that A, building wealth is a team sport. You got to understand B, that building wealth begins in the mind, man. It begins in the mind. A lot of times we try to figure out the action of what to do, and that's wrong. And I can't remember if this was, William Hollis or, I can't remember which motivational speaker says it, but he says, if you are going to have the success that someone else has, the first thing you have to do is determine the mindset that created it. I'll say it again. In order to have what you want to have, whether that is success, happiness, peace, joy, whether it is monetary things, whether it is a big business, you have to determine the mindset that created it. And you got to work on that first. What are the 5 critical components to building wealth? Number 1, the first thing you must do if you are going to build wealth is you have to define what wealth means to you. That's first and foremost. You can never hit a target that you don't have a clear picture of. And if somebody can put these in the comments, that would be wonderful. Number 1, the first thing that you have to do if you're going to build wealth is define what wealth means to you. Now, normally I would give my definition of wealth, but I'm not going to give it to you right now because the question of the day is, what's the difference between wealthy and rich? And if you're going to answer the question of the day, I want you to put QOTD and then your answer. That way you will be entered into the drawing for a free vacation. So number 1, you've got to make sure that you define what wealth means to you, because it means different things to different people. And sometimes you're going after a picture of wealth that somebody else has created for you, right? And you don't want to do that. Number 2, once you've defined what it means to you, the second thing that you have to do, and this is so simple, but it's so very critical. Number 2, you have to decide to be wealthy. I know that sounds very elementary, right? But let me help you with the word decision. The word decision is the opposite of the word incision. When a doctor makes an incision into you, that means they are cutting into you. But the word decision means to cut away. See, the moment I decided to be wealthy, I by default cut away a lot of things that would have kept me from not being wealthy, right? Man, there is power in your decision. The moment I decided to be wealthy, the universe started to bring into my world the necessary tools and resources to help me get there. You don't become wealthy by wishing, by hoping, by praying. You become wealthy by deciding. Now, once you decide to be wealthy, then by all means, you should be praying about how to get there, right? But if you haven't made a clear choice that you're going to be wealthy and that you're going to do whatever it takes to get you there, then you, my friend, are missing out. Number 3, after you've defined what wealth means to you, after you've decided to be wealthy, number 3, now you got to draw up a plan to get you there, right? You got to draw up a plan to get you there. A lot of times we have these grand wishes and these grand fantasies, but we never put an action plan together that says, hey, according to this book, this podcast, my research here, this magazine article, if I'm going to be wealthy, I need an action plan. And I found someone who is wealthy. I'm going to model what they do. And here are the steps to getting wealthy on a macro scale and then a micro scale, right? What does that mean? On a macro scale, if you're going to build wealth, then chances are you're going to do it through some sort of business enterprise, or maybe you're going to do it through saving and investing. That's a macro. Okay, what's the micro? And what I'm going to do every day? What am I going to do every hour that's going to get me closer to that goal? Number 4, you've defined what wealth means to you. You've decided to be wealthy. You've cut away a lot of stuff. You're drawing up a plan to get you there. Now you got to discipline yourself to execute the plan, right? You've got to discipline yourself to execute the plan. Let me help you guys understand something about execution, man. Some of you guys know that I love coaching youth basketball. I stepped away to do this full time so that I can get my money right, so I can go back and do that full time, right? But I coached a game where we were winning big time. The other team got momentum towards the end of the game, and they came storming back, right? And they tied the game, but we had the last play. I have a big 6'3" power forward that I was going to feed the ball to in the post. So we drew up a plan in the timeout. I said, listen, the way they got back into the game is they were switching all of our picks, right? Some of you guys know basketball. If you set a pick on a guy, you have 2 choices. You can go through with the pick and keep following your same man, or you can just switch. They start switching everything, and it messed my guys up, right? So I finally figured it out. I said, they're switching everything. So I put my point guard closest to our basket. We had a sideline out of bounds. I put my point guard closest to the basket, and I put my forward kind of midcourt. I said, they're switching everything. You're going to go down and set a screen for the point guard, and they're going to switch. That means you're going to have their tiny point guard guarding you closest to our basket. All you got to do is turn around, keep the ball high over your head, and make the layup. Man, when I tell you, that was the proudest moment in my coaching life, because they almost executed the plan to the T, right? We did our little things. My guy slapped the ball. He ran down, set a screen on my point guard. My point guard popped out to half court to get the ball. They switched. Little guy at guarding my big guy. We call that a mouse in the house where I'm from. We throw the ball into the post. He catches it. He turns around and he misses the layup. We go into overtime, we win, but that's my story about execution, man. So number 4, discipline yourself to execute the game plan. And the 5th component of building wealth is one that it is tough. It is tough to do, but it's probably the most necessary step. They're all critical. They're all important. Number 5 is the toughest and probably the most necessary. You've got to disassociate from anybody not willing to help or support your efforts in building wealth. You've got to disassociate yourself from anybody that's not willing to help or support. See, I don't always need your help, but if you're not helping, you got to at least be supportive, right? Because everybody don't know how to build wealth, so they don't know how to help you build wealth. But you're not going to be negative and disrespectful and talking down on my efforts. And here's why it's so difficult. Because some of the people that you need to disassociate yourself from, they help you through some of the most darkest times in your life. Some of the people that you need to disassociate yourself from are people that you know, love, and respect. Sometimes the people, when you get on this wealth building journey that you need to disassociate yourself from, could be the very people that brought you into this world. Listen, man, I know people, when they started to transform their lives, their parents were some of the most toxic people that you could ever imagine. You got to figure out how to separate from people that won't help or support you on your journey. So that's my 5 critical steps to building wealth. Remember, wealth is a team sport. Remember, wealth begins in the mind. And if you're going to build wealth, then you must first define what that means to you. You got to decide to be wealthy. You got to draw out a plan. You got to discipline yourself to execute that plan. And you've got to be ready, willing, and able to disassociate from anybody who's not willing to help you or support you on your journey, right? Remember, if you guys are going to answer the question of the day, type in QOTD and then give your answer. Sim Saya says, being rich focuses spending a lot of your money. Being wealthy focuses on saving and investing a lot of your money. I like that answer, man. Those of you who participate in the question of the day, I will do a drawing on Saturday, which is going to be tough because I got an all-day workshop on Saturday. But I'm going to find the time to do the drawing for everybody who participates. And somebody's going to win a free vacation courtesy of the Cortez Hustle Show. But you got to answer. You got to put QOTD in the comments so I know that you are answering the comments. And if you are watching in our Facebook group, please put your name, because when you're watching from Facebook group, because we're using an app in the group, Facebook blocks your name and it just says Facebook user. So I don't know who you are, right? But I want to, if you put your name, your Facebook name in your comment, then I know that I know how to reach you if your name gets drawn for the free vacation. All right. Do me a favor. If you have not already hit the like button, if you have not already hit the share button, if you're on YouTube and you have not already subscribed to the channel, then please do that for me. Right now, we're going to get into a segment, brand new segment that we like to call 1 minute motivation. I'm going to show you guys a quick 1 minute motivational video. And I want you to comment your takeaways. Listen, man, I start my day with mindset motivation. I do it in 2 parts, right? Every single day, if you are building, if you are grinding, if you are doing something and you're trying to be progressive, every single day, you should be listening to something that is conditioning your mindset toward success, happiness, peace, and joy every day. And then if you are trying to go to another level in any area of your life, for me, it is business, right? Then you should also be listening to, reading, or watching something tactical, right? I do that every day. I do a mindset. How do I shift my mindset to start thinking success, removing negative thoughts? And I do something tactical. What's a skill that I can learn to add to make me more valuable, that gives me more value to bring to you guys? So let's go ahead and get into 1 minute motivation. Get your notes out, man. Write down your takeaways. I want you to share your takeaways in the comments, and I'm going to share a couple of mine. So this is 1 minute motivation on the Cortez Hustle Show.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become.
Einstein said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing that it's stupid. And too many of us are fish trying to climb a tree. Too many of us are monkeys being taught how to swim. Too many of us are lions being taught to live like cats.
Whoa! Welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. That is 1 minute motivation, man. What are some of your takeaways? What did you hear that made you say, ouch? I'm telling you, man, I start my day every day with meditation, giving Thanksgiving before I get out of bed. But then when I get out of bed, man, and I go and I do my workout in the morning, I'm listening. Man, a couple things that I got out of that, man. Let me go ahead and put the link in here. So the YouTube channel that particular 1 minute motivation comes from, the YouTube channel is Relentless Wolf Motivation. Relentless Wolf Motivation. And here is the link to the actual video if you guys want to go and check that thing out. Let's see, Facebook user from the group says, don't let what others think of you slow your dreams. Man, that is dope. I like to say, don't live your life for someone else, right? That was key. Don't live your life according to dogma and the opinions of others. Man, there's so much dogma because of the way our economy and because of the way the country is set up, right? School system, in my opinion, has become more about indoctrination than education. And there's a lot of dogma in our school system, and they train you to think and live your life based on the opinions of others. Don't get caught up in that. He says, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, that fish will go through its whole life thinking it's stupid. Now, you guys know the Cortez Hustle Show is primarily about entrepreneurship. Man, when you are an entrepreneur and everything in your body says you're an entrepreneur, and there's a reason that you can't get along with your teachers because you guys got a different way of thinking. There's a reason you can't get along on a job, right? And everybody around you is saying how stupid you are because you can't keep a job. And nobody's saying, well, perhaps you need to go to business school and learn how to start, run, maintain, and grow your own business, right? And then the last thing that it says, some of y'all are lions living like cats. Man, listen, that is 1 minute motivation on the Cortez Hustle Show. Make sure that if you don't already follow us, go to youtube.com/financial health mentor and facebook.com/financial health mentor. Cortez Hustle Show airs every day, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch us live, or you can catch us via the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, your favorite podcasting apps. On the other side of this break, guys, we're going to talk about the 6 Black wealth building tips from Business Insider, and they forgot the number 1 tip that, in my opinion, all Black people should be doing if they're going to close the wealth gap in America and around the world. So there's actually 7 tips that I'm going to give you on the other side of this break. So y'all make sure y'all keep it locked right here.
Hey, good morning, wealth champions. Hey, listen, if you want to be financially successful, then you have to do what financially successful people do. And I know there's a few things that all wealthy people have in common. Number 1, they understand that building wealth is a team sport. Number 2, they understand the power of capitalism and business enterprise. Number 3, they love to use systems and leverage. And number 4, they all have mentors. My name is H. Cortez, also known as Financial Health Mentor. And for the last 5 years, I've been helping hardworking Americans get all of these things in place with one single membership. If you want to learn more about that, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com. Again, that's myperfectmoneyplan.com. And you're going to get a team of professionals, so you're not building wealth by yourself. You're going to get a system that's going to help you transform your finances. And last but not least, you're going to get some great mentorship to help you execute your game plan. So again, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. Coming to you live and direct from the myperfectmoneyplan.com studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. And by the way, just for those of you who do not know, that could have been your 90-second commercial on the Cortez Hustle Show. I am looking for sponsors of the show. You can do a 30 to 90-second commercial. You can sponsor a segment like the 1 minute motivation or the question of the day. You can sponsor the studio, or you can sponsor the show as a whole. Just keep in mind, man, I don't know how many people see these videos, but I do have 100,000 people follow me on YouTube, on Facebook, and that's where the show streams. Another 5,000 people follow me on YouTube. The show streams there as well as all of the podcasting platforms. So if you want to get your message out, let your boy help you do just that. Now, let's talk about these 6 ways, according to Business Insider. Let me grab you guys a link so that you guys can have the link directly, because y'all know we don't read the whole article, but I do want to give you the resource itself. And I am actually going to share my screen so you guys can see the article. The link will be in the description for those of you who are listening to this on the podcast, so you can check that out as well. But if you ever want to see my ugly mug, all you got to do is go check the show out on YouTube or Facebook, and you can see the live video of the show as well. So let me share, and let's talk about closing the Black wealth gap in America, right? And let me open this up just a little bit bigger so you guys don't have to strain to see and read along with me. 6 ways Black Americans can start building wealth today. Now, most of these I absolutely love, but like I said, I didn't see one key that I think really makes sense. Christy Martin Rodriguez is the author of this particular article. So let's talk about some facts, right? And this is why I give you guys the link to the article. Let me remove my branding as well, so that that looks like a distraction to me. There we go. This is why I give you the article, because the article often links to other articles and other resources for you guys to check out. According to the Brookings Institution, the net worth of typical white family is $171,000, and it's nearly 10 times greater than that of a black family, which is $17,000. This staggering gap in wealth reveals the effects of accumulated inequality and discrimination, as well as differences in power and opportunity. And I'm glad they didn't sugarcoat why the wealth gap is. A lot of times when it comes to what the differences is in financial status and socioeconomic status, people tend to blame us as if there's not a reason for it, right? So inequality, accumulated effects of inequality, discrimination, as well as differences in power and opportunity. For instance, Blacks in America have an increased risk of contracting COVID-19 and have experienced a more severe financial impact as a result of the pandemic. According to the Nationwide Retirement Institute's May 2020 COVID-19 Consumer Survey, 40% of Black adults say COVID-19 has impacted their retirement plans, compared to 33% of whites. In addition, 51% of Black adults are re-evaluating their retirement plans to assess the financial impact of COVID-19, while just 39% of white adults are doing the same thing. Now, let's talk about how these steps can impact. Number one, this is why I do this show every morning. We got to start talking about money, y'all. It seems elementary, but we don't talk about money enough, right? In the positive light towards building wealth. Because believe it or not, we talk about money, right? We talk about money all the time. Kanye West said it best: having money is not everything. Not having it is. See, we talk about money. We just talk about it in the negative. We talk about how we ain't got none. We talk about how much things cost and what we can't afford. We're talking about money all the time, but it's time for us to learn how to talk about it in the positive. We've got to talk about it in a way that says, how can we acquire it? We got to start talking about it in a way that says, what are best practices? What are the principles and the strategies that lead to the accumulation and the maintenance of wealth, right? What can we do with money to improve our lot in life? We've got to start talking about it. In the Black community, we often think of money as a taboo, off-limits topic, but not talking about it is hurting us. Don't shy away from discussing financial planning with your loved ones. Go beyond just talking about paying off your credit cards or saving each month. Discuss how you can accumulate wealth, invest your savings, and create a long-term financial plan by taking small steps now to reach your long-term financial goal. A 2019 study from the Alliance of Lifetime Income found that 24% of non-retired Americans who have talked a lot about retirement with their spouse or family are more comfortable with both their retirement plans and their financial preparedness than the other 3/4 of Americans. Are you talking about money? And how often are you? In fact, I had a mentor by the name of Ivy Stokes put it to me this way. He said, Cortez, once a week, The choir at the church rehearses. They have choir practice day. He said once a week at the church, they set aside a day for Bible study. Once a week at the church, the deacons will meet. He said, we got all of these things scheduled. 2-3 times a week, your children go to their practice for their sport or their extracurricular activity. The question is this: when is your money practice day? We got practice and rehearsal days for everything. When is your money practice day? Man, that's deep. Once a week, sit down with the family, pull out the budget, talk, dream build, see what everybody is trying to do, and let's develop some plans and some strategies on how to get it done, man. Listen, people, we got to start talking about money more in the positive and not just in the negative. Yes, Black people are some of the most resourceful people on the planet. That's what poverty will do for you. That's what lack will do for you. It brings out the African engineer in you, right? I remember being a kid and being raised by a single mom on welfare. We didn't have any tools. I fixed my bike and all my friends' bikes in the neighborhood with a hammer, a pair of pliers, a butter knife for my flathead screwdriver, and a steak knife. And that's why my mom, all the tips of my mom's steak knives were broke off, because I was trying to angle it to take out Phillips head screws, right? Resourceful. What happens if we actually had money as the resource to get the proper tools and things we need to actually build a solid and a stable family, right? So number one, start talking about money more. Number two, live within your means, right? Live within your means. Ask yourself if your spending habits are putting you in a difficult position financially. Living within your means can be achieved by creating and sticking to a budget and understanding how debt can impact you, right? There's little fees that we typically don't pay attention to, right? We are being robbed by the pen from our wealth, right? I want you to do this. If you really want to get a hold of your finances, I want you to pull out your bank statements for the last 90 days. And I want you to go through them line by line so you can see where your money is actually going. See, we all think our money is going to a particular place because we try to calculate everything in our head. But when you see it in black and white, it'll change your whole perspective. It will change your whole perspective. Black parents, including myself, want to give our children the best opportunities possible. I recall growing up hearing my parents and extended family saying, I want my children to have what I didn't have. However, it's important to consider how any financial decision you make will impact your long-term financial trajectory. All right. Live within your means. This is where we should be allowing that African ingenuity, that resourcefulness that we develop coming up. This is where that should be coming into play a little bit more than when we were back in the day and we didn't have the resources. I want you to imagine this, because if you think about it, a lot of families in 2021 are one generation out of welfare, meaning, and that's me. So my mom, we were on welfare, and me, I'm the first generation out of welfare. We do okay for ourselves. We are probably considered to be lower middle class, right? But what would happen if me and my family were living as resourceful as we did? My mom raised 6 children on welfare. We had a welfare check, we had food stamps, and my dad was killed when I was 11. So for those 6 years till I turned 18, we had a Social Security check, right? When I tell you, my mom made miracles every Thanksgiving, right? Like Tupac on Dear Mama, right? With just the welfare, right? I mean, with just that. But imagine that was, if you add the food stamps, that was right at about $1,000 per month. $300 welfare check, $300 in food stamps, $300 Social Security check, right? $900 a month. That was rent. That was food. That was clothes for 6 children. That was extracurricular activities. Man, we had to make it work. Now, enter me. Before I left my job, I was at a $60,000 a year job. My wife was making about 35 to 40 on her job. So that's $100K. Imagine if we were living as resourceful with our $100K as we learned to be on my mom's $12K. And we were putting all the rest of that money into a retirement account. I want y'all to think about that, man. A lot of us are doing a lot better than we're thinking, but one of the problems we have is comparing ourselves to other people. No, compare yourself to where you came from, right? Let's go. Number 3, start saving and investing now. Now, people. Start tracking how much you save each year and aim to save 10 to 15% of your income as an investment in yourself. You'll be amazed at how quickly it will add up. On average, people don't start contributing to their retirement plan until age 31. And that's people in general. So Black people is probably age 41, right? According to the research of nearly 2.5 million defined contribution participants, this means most are missing out on nearly a decade of saving, asset accumulation, and greater compounded returns. There's nothing like the power of time when it comes to investing. And a lot of us are saying, Cortez, I don't know nothing about all that stuff. And we walk around with $1,000 computer in our pocket every day with access to almost all the information in the entire world. You saying, Cortez, I don't know nothing about that stuff, as if that is a valid excuse when you have $1,000 computer in your pocket with access to literally 90% of all the information in the entire world. No excuse, people. No excuse. So start saving and investing now. I got a great resource for you guys. If you want to start the process of learning how this works, if you go to facebook.com/groups/wealth creation playbook. That's my private Facebook group. You can join that group. In that group, I have a investment playbook unit. I have a credit repair playbook unit. I have an entrepreneurship playbook unit. I have a mindset playbook unit. All the things that you need to start building wealth are in that group. All you got to do is go on Facebook and search Wealth Creation Playbook. If you ask to join, I'll approve you when we get off the stream, right? So some of you guys just don't know where to start. Start with baby steps, man. Go in a group like that and ask questions. Look at the content that's already in there. I even got a video in there on how to get double-digit returns on your investments, right? It's crazy how much good quality free content exists. All you got to do is go look for it. It's there, y'all. It's there. All right, we got 3 more, and then I got to get to the question of the day. If you guys have not already answered the question of the day, anytime you answer the question of the day on the Cortez Hustle Show, you will always get entered into a drawing to win a free vacation. But you have to put QOTD before your answer so I know that it is you. And then if you're in a group like the Wealth Creation Playbook group watching the show, you have to put your name, because it does not give me your name if you're watching from a group. All right, number four. Now, these are deep. These are deep. Prioritize your health, right? Prioritize your health. Well, Cortez, what does that have to do with wealth? Listen, people, the number one reason the upper 10% of people, question of the day, is what is the difference between wealthy and rich? What is the difference between wealthy and rich? What is the difference between wealthy and rich? It's the question of the day. Prioritizing your health, guys. Here's what's happening to us as Black and brown people in America. Take someone like myself, right? I am one generation removed from welfare, and I did good in corporate America to some degree. I now have my own businesses. I'm building passive and residual income. My wife has a business. She's building passive and residual income, and we're starting to teach the children the importance of doing that. So we're kind of on our way, right? And if we keep going this way, then we should be able to pass down a tremendous amount of wealth and assets to our children. But what we're not doing as a Black community enough of is prioritizing our health. Meaning, we've lived good. We made it to the top 10% in income earners in Black community, top 10% of net worth in Black communities. Because think about it, if the average person in the Black community has a net worth of $17,000, if you have a net worth of $100,000, you're in the top 10%. And a lot of us are getting there, good corporate jobs, good careers, businesses, all of that. But when you don't prioritize your health and your health fails, all of that you have accumulated goes into recovering your health, and it doesn't get passed down to the next generation, right? Many people don't realize the connection between your health and your wealth. When I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. I experienced firsthand the financial, physical, and emotional strain that a chronic health condition could place on individuals as well as their families. Both near-term and future healthcare needs can result in costly expenses, but there are simple ways to mitigate potential healthcare costs both today and tomorrow by prioritizing your well-being. Take care of yourself, people. Take care of yourself. After my diagnosis, I was able to positively address the course of my personal health by adjusting some of my personal habits, including eating, exercising, and focusing on preventative care. The National Retirement Institute Health and Wealth Consumer Survey revealed only 50% of younger adults had a physical or wellness check, and only 45% had preventative screenings in the past year. Take care of yourself. Kimberly, Facebook group, welcome to the stream this morning. Facebook group is Wealth Creation Playbook. Wealth Creation Playbook. Take care of your health, people. Number 5. Oh man, we gotta hustle. Make a long-term care plan for your loved ones. Listen, as a Black Gen Xer, caregiving is a very important topic to me. In fact, my own great-grandmother lived to be 107 years old. As people live longer, long-term care will be needed more. And within the Black community, family members are often not only willing, but expected to pitch in. While caregiving is deeply meaningful, the 2019 National Retirement Institute Long-Term Care Survey reveals that 62% of caregivers spend their own money on caregiving expenses, spending an average of $4,000 per year. How does this affect your wealth? It goes back to what I was saying with the health scenario. And I'm sorry, guys, I was not sharing my screen so you guys could read along. It goes back to what I was saying with the health scenario. Think about it. Your parents get older and you're doing well for yourself. And y'all know how it goes. The person that is doing the best for themselves is usually the person that the family is going to say, Mama got to come live with you. Daddy got to come live with you. And according to this study, you're spending an extra $4,000 a year out of pocket on your care for your family. And I'm not saying don't care for your family, no, but there are mechanisms in place where you could get away with spending $500 a year in long-term care insurance for your family, and all of those things will be taken care of, and you can get them a better quality of care. All right? At your next family dinner, have a conversation about long-term care. Ask where family members want to receive care and start to think about what that means financially. By creating a plan now, you can ensure you have options and financial resources for future caregiving. Right? Number 6, consider life and long-term disability insurance. The greatest opportunity for wealth transfer in this country is life insurance. The greatest. I let a policy lapse right before Christmas. I signed up to get a new policy and then got COVID. So now I got to set up another appointment to get a new policy. And coming out of COVID, guess what that means for me? It's going to cost me a little bit more money. Oh, you tested positive for COVID. So your policy is going to cost you a little bit more. Right? But we have the opportunity to transfer wealth. We have the opportunity that says, hey, if my spouse gets a disability, a debilitating disease, I can pull money from that policy and cover her costs and not have to mortgage the house or sell the business and do all of that stuff. And still have mechanisms in place so that we could transfer wealth to the children. The Black community has traditionally relied on family networks as our financial safety net. We generally believe our money is our family's money and vice versa. However, I encourage you to consider traditional insurance products to help protect against life's what ifs. Long-term disability insurance will protect your biggest assets, which is your income. Life insurance can ensure family members will have financial stability should a death in the family occur. I love all 6 of these tips, but I wouldn't be the financial health mentor. I wouldn't be Cortez Hustle if I didn't give you number 7, man. Number 7 is entrepreneurship. And I'm not saying that so that we can create $1 billion business, right? We're talking wealth here, right? We're talking wealth. Here's how entrepreneurship can change the game for everybody listening right now. And if you want to partner with me and let me help you do some of this stuff, either with an opportunity that I have, either if you already have a business and you want to learn how to grow that business through our mastermind, whatever the case is, you want to get my $7 ebook on personal branding, whatever. Listen, you start a business today. As a business owner, you're allowed to adjust your W-4, your tax withholding certificate on your job. They're going to take less money out of your paycheck. That means you get a pay raise of anywhere from $300 to $600 per month. You take that $300 to $600 per month and you use that for strategic debt elimination, saving some of it for an emergency, and investing some of it, right? But let's look at you using some of that $300 to $600 a month for debt elimination. If you focus on high interest revolving debt like credit cards, not only will your cash flow increase as you pay off those credit cards, but so will your credit. So will your credit. So now you've started a business. Now Uncle Sam has helped you pay off your credit cards and fix your credit. Now that you got better credit, you might be able to refinance your mortgage and save a couple $100s per month. You might be able to refinance your car note, save a couple $100s a month. With better credit, your insurance premiums go down. With better credit, you don't have to put deposits on your utilities and all of that kind of stuff. We ain't even made no money in the business yet. We just started a business. I want y'all to understand, man, the greatest yet underutilized wealth building strategy in America is the home-based business. And all of you got a gift, talent, special ability that God gave you for free that you could turn to a business today, right? Let me get to this question of the day, man, because the show is almost over. Question of the day: what's the difference between wealthy and rich? Letitia Berry says wealthy is having a sustained money, meaning you will always have money / income. Rich is simply having a lot of money for a short period of time. Love that, love that, love that idea, that answer. Let's see. Truman says riches is you have the money and like 7 sources of income, mainly knowing how to get rich. But wealth means you have money and the knowledge and wisdom of knowing how to make money and skills of longevity when it comes to it too. Wealth is a generational blessing. I love that answer. Love that answer. Appreciate you guys for chiming in. I think wealthy applies in multiple areas and it has legacy related benefits. Rich is only money and may not be generational. I love that. I love that. Let me see. Integrity Wealth Solutions. Rich, question that rich, you work and make a lot of money. Wealthy, your money is working for you. I love that. I love that. Let me see. I just want to try to touch base on everybody who shared their thoughts on the question of the day. And I think Sim says being rich focuses spending a lot of your money. Being wealthy focuses on saving and investing a lot of your money. All right, really quickly, what is my thoughts on the difference between being rich and being wealthy? I think everybody kind of hit it on the head. I like Kimberly says wealth is in more areas, right? But when we're talking about financial wealth versus financial riches, to me, it is about dollar amount and it is about how you make your money, right? Riches is an accumulation of wealth at an accumulation of money at one time, right? You can have a lot of money and you can make a lot of money, but that don't necessarily make you wealthy. In my opinion, you are wealthy when you're non-wage income. Wealth to me is about how your income comes in. When your non-wage income, meaning the money that comes in to your household without you working, when your non-wage income surpasses your monthly expenses, you, my friend, are wealthy. And the reason you're not rich is because it might not be a lot of money. But let me give you an example. If my non-wage income, meaning I've got residual incomes that come in, I've got passive income comes in, whether I get up out of bed or not, that money is still coming, right? If that was, say, $7,000 per month, where no matter what, money coming from my investments, money coming from my business, the residual part of the money, not the money that I actively go make in business. I'm talking about the residual money that comes in through my business. If that's $7,000 per month and it costs me $4,000 per month to live comfortably, I'm wealthy. Because whether I roll over a bed or roll out of bed, all of my expenses are taken care of with surplus. Now watch this. I could be an NBA ball player, in which case I make $500,000. Now, NBA plays a lot more games. I could be an NFL football player. And because of my contract, I make $500,000 per game. Every Sunday, I get a check for $500,000. Now, that makes me rich, but it does not necessarily make me wealthy. Why? Because $500,000 is $2 million per month, right? But remember, the NFL season is only 6 months, right? So I might only be making that $500,000 for 6 months. So that's $2 million per year. If it costs me $2 million per year to live, I'm in $1 million home, cost me $1 million a year for my home. I've got $500,000 worth of cars. And then every year we take $500,000 worth of trips, jewelry, all of that stuff. I make $2 million a year and I spend $2 million a year. I got a rich lifestyle, but I ain't the least bit wealthy. That to me is the difference between being rich and being wealthy. So I thank everybody for participating in the question of the day. Be on the lookout for a live stream from me on Saturday where we do our drawing to give away the free vacation. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. Appreciate y'all all for tuning in to the Cortez Hustle Show this week. Until next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.